Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world, LFC fans. Just another pre-game review before our match tomorrow against Brighton, which you can see almost like a return leg. Obviously not. Carabao Cup, we beat Brighton away, and opportunity now to beat Brighton at home in the league. So just wanted to chop up in terms of my potential starting lineup. And bits and pieces, I think, for the game ahead. And I would love it as well if you could please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe is more important. And please leave some comments. Tell me what you would actually have as a starting lineup for the game tomorrow. So before talking about that, a couple of things. Rumours about Koku, who currently plays for Benfica, potentially 120 million, I think, release clause. Midfielder, would that happen? Interesting. I don't think it would. When we got potentially Real Madrid's midfielder that we tried to go for previously, who turned us down, and French midfielder, and still Zubimendi. Potentially, we could get the two of them for the same price. So I kind of would doubt that's going to be an interest for Liverpool. But that's news that's floating around out there. But clearly, we do definitely need something to happen in January. We definitely need some sort of reinforcement, definitely in midfield and left back, especially when we look at the last couple of weeks and we look at the Carabao Cup and who we had coming in to give the guys a rest. We do need reinforcements if we are to go for the league and have a really, really successful season, which hopefully we do. Because I think just the moment we're starting to see the little threads breaking a little bit in terms of the squad depth and injuries starting to raise up. So press conference today, we definitely know Chiesa is not in line to return before the international break. Chiesa, clearly, we rushed him in, but he needed time to really rebuild his body to be ready for the rigours of the Premiership. And that's something it seems like the club understands and recognise. And I think that's what's currently happening now, because it seems like Kie's out of training sessions, picking up injuries. So he just needs some time to build up his body, and then we can see what's happening. What we don't need, though, is rumours about him moving out and going on loan in January, when at the moment we haven't seen what he can do for us yet. Harvey Elliott as well, this time not going to be available. We also have Jota not going to be available, and Alisson not going to be available. I think that's everyone. Yeah. Still leaves us pretty strong squad. However, obviously, getting to November, then eventually getting to December, we do want to have as much players returning back as fit as possible. But what we saw from the midweek game is people like Yaros, Kelleher give us that strength and depth. And Morton as well. Endo played. I was very critical of Endo, but again, that's the strength and depth. Whether it gives us enough, it's another story. Right, so I suppose if I look at this game, Brighton, the first team to beat them at their ground, and Brighton have been doing really, really well this season. So we would expect a competitive game. We saw when Brighton put on some of their key players like Wilbert and the Japanese left winger, that we clearly see the Toma. So clearly see how once they get the main players in, how competitive they are. So this is not by any means going to be an easy game. They lost to Chelsea, but I think really that game, there was a ridiculous high line being played by Brighton, and I really hope they do the same, but I got a feeling it won't. We may see them being more conservative against us, but if they can actually go attacking, I would love that. If they can play a high line, I would love that, and we can then expose. But I don't think they will see that. They've got a coach who is very smart, very young, but very intelligent and very, very well skilled in terms of putting a squad together and putting a team together. So I would expect starting lineup. I would say Simicast. I think Robbo needs to sit on the bench. Robbo played the full game So I would expect that Robbo is rested. So I would call it Simicast or Gomez, I would expect to be starting left back. Then we'll actually have Virgil, Canate, and Trent. And obviously we know Trent will have, with Natoma, his hands really, really challenged in terms of keeping him away from attacking and getting past, because Bradley really had a difficult, I would say, about 15 minutes of constantly trying to deal with marauding runs that he was doing. Gravenberch I'd expect to be back. We missed him, and just gives that base and distribution, dual ones, etc., etc. McAllister, and I would say Jones. It would be touch and go, because I think the coach may look to put Szoboszlai, but I would like to see Jones playing in this game. I think Jones at Anfield previously showed really great energy, dynamism, etc. Yes, he struggled a bit against Arsenal, but so did a lot of other players did. And I thought in the midweek he played pretty well. So I would like to see Jones have an opportunity and Szoboszlai come on. Not, although I see what Szoboszlai does, his energy, his work rate. I just feel that we need to give Jones an opportunity just to see why he's a crest of a wave, just to keep that confidence going. I would expect Gakpo to start, because I feel with Gakpo's performance, we need to give him an opportunity in the league in this game. Nunes and Salah. That's sure I expect to be a really good starting lineup to go face Brighton, against a team of Brighton who's still got a few injuries, but with Welbeck back, Natoma back, I would expect them to be really sort of competitive against us. 3 o'clock kickoff. Hopefully we get a win. Hopefully City have a challenging game against Bournemouth, so you never know. But please let me know what teams or players you would start with, what your starting lineup would be, what's your reasons for it. And again, just like, subscribe, and click on notifications, and speak to you soon.